Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री राधा गोविंद की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Lesson 5, the independent nature of pure devotional service. Today is the chapter 3, 4 and 5 we'll be covering. What we studied in the last class, the process of sadhana bhakti and what is called sadhana and what are the different types. There are two types of sadhana bhakti, that is Vaidhi and Raganuga, and some of the analogies and Sanskrit verses we have seen. And what is the difference between Vaidhi and Raganuga, that is also explained in the last class. And qualification for practicing the devotional service in relation to Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. These things are discussed in the last class. So today we will be continuing to the chapter number 3. If you see the book, the chapter number I request all of you to open the book, that book which you have already with you. I just want to show you the placing of the book, the page numbers, because the difference between Bhagavad Gita and the Nectar of Devotion is Bhagavad Gita is according to the shloka, but the Nectar of Devotion, it doesn't have shloka here. It is a summary study. So we are depending on the page number. But the problem is the book may not have same page number what we are referring. So the one book which I have shared you, that is this one. This is the one which I have shared in the WhatsApp group. Hope everyone having this copy.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, you can see this is a very earlier version of Nectar of Devotion. And it was printed in the Boston, the first edition. And in this, the chapter number 3 is Page number 28.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And what is the page number in your book for third chapter?
28 only, Prabhuji.
Okay, then it is matching with the same.
32 for me. 32 for me.
39 for me.
Okay,
Third
okay.
chapter is
Yes,
29.
Prabhuji. Even 32 for me.
Okay, some are having 32 and some are having, what are the other numbers?
29, Prabhuji.
29 itself.
29.
Okay, there some are 28, 29 and 32. So accordingly, you have to go on adding the number. Now, this is 28 in this book. So if you are having 32, then whenever I say 28, you should go for 32. That means you have to add so many pages in further page numbers also. So wherever in the PPT, if you find the page numbers, you have to add the difference. So 4 pages has to be added if you are number 32. If you are a number 29, then you have to add one more page number. Then you will reach that same page. So this is regarding the page numbers in the book. Eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. What is the eligibility? If somebody wants to accept devotional service, we start with the Vaidhi Bhakti. So what eligibility one should have? Just for beginning, just like pre-qualification, what one need to have. Because when we introduce Krishna consciousness to the public, everyone will not take to it because they are not qualified. That qualification is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself, in the text number 1 to 14. Ya kenapi atibhagyena jata shraddhosva sevane nati sakto na vairagya bhag asyam adhikari asau. The person who has developed faith in serving the Lord by impressions arising from previous association with devotees, who is not too attached to material objects and who is not too detached, is qualified for Vaidhi Bhakti. This is the qualification for performing Vaidhi Bhakti. Now let us see, there are 3 points here. One is a person who has developed faith for serving the Lord and his devotees. It may be from the previous birth or maybe within this birth itself, where the person was fortunate enough to serve the Lord and his devotees. That is the first point. Mercy of the devotees one must receive to practice, to begin the devotional service. And the second point is not overly attached. Third point, not overly detached. That means there is some optimization. We should not be too detached or we should not be too attached. How to understand this? Here, prapanchikataya buddhya harisambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhihi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. There are 2 types of vairagya. One is called yukta vairagya. Other one is called falgu vairagya. Yukta vairagya means the vairagya which is prescribed or which is needed for a person to advance in devotional life. And falgu vairagya means the vairagya or the detachment which is not recommended. That is the difference between falgu and yukta. One should have yukta vairagya. One should not have falgu vairagya. Now, how to understand this with an example? Yukta vairagya means a person, whatever he possesses, he uses it in the service of the Lord without any personal benefit or doing any sense gratification. If he use those things, even though it is material, if it is used in the service of the Lord, then it is called Yukta Vairagya. If a person thinking that everything is material, so everything is creating bondage, and he gives up all the things what he has, then it is called Phalgu Vairagya. It is coming from Jnana and Karma. A karmi, or a person who is a fruitive worker, one who is working for his personal benefit, he is overly attached to all the results that he is getting from the work that he is doing. And a person who has developed jnana or knowledge, he has completely detached himself from everything, understanding that these all objects are creating the bondage, so I will give up everything. So that is Phalgu Vairagya. Now here, what is expected is one should use whatever he has in the service of the Lord. As Srila Prabhupada has given the example, we use so many things here, just like we are using this computer, and we are using printing press, we are using mobile phones, internet, we are using transportation. All these are material. They are not meant for making some spiritual advancement. The person who has invented this computer or Zoom calling or internet, they never thought, oh, devotees will sit and listen to Bhakti Shastri class. They have done it with the profit mentality. They want to do get some benefit from this technology. But we are using it in the service of the Lord. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Muchate. But if we are only thinking that this is all bondage, people, they don't use the vehicles. If they want to travel from one place to another, they only go by walking. So this was earlier, they were practicing this. Walking has its own benefit. When we are walking together, all the devotees, we get a lot of time for discussing the pastimes of the Lord, and there is a lot of opportunity for associating with the devotees. But that is not possible, or that is not very practical when we are having the facility for transportation and there is a need for moving faster or reaching the place in a faster way, so that a person can reach out to many people altogether. So we have to use whatever facility that is available. In the earlier cases, people could remember the shloka. Once they hear the Shastra, everything is printed within their brain. But now there is a need for writing. So we can't go on writing all the Shastras. We don't have so much of time, and we are busy in our own world, or many people are not interested also. So for them, we can give printed books. And these books are printed in the press. And press is a product of technology, modern technology. So this is a use of material things in the spiritual platform. So one who is doing sadhana bhakti, he should not be overly attached. That means he should not be too much attached to the sense gratification. Then he cannot remember Krishna. At the same time, one should not be overly detached also. If you simply run away from this world, thinking that everything is material, everything is causing me bondage, so let me give up everything, then also he cannot practice. And also he should have the mercy of the Lord. Based on this, we can categorize the devotees into three parts. They are called Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. So based on the mercy of the devotees that they have received, based on the detachment that they have developed for the material position, and based on the knowledge which is leading to devotion to Krishna. So based on these three things, we can categorize the people or devotees into three parts, three divisions. If anybody would like to read, they can raise their hands. Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. On account of his association with Mahatmas or great souls, 100% in the devotional service of the Lord, one may attain a little bit of attraction to Sri Krishna, but at the same time may remain very much attached to fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment. Such a person, if he has unflinching attraction to Krishna, becomes an eligible candidate for discharging devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, page number 29. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So page number 29 means you have to go accordingly.
Page number 30.
So this paragraph comes as the very first paragraph of chapter number 3, if you see. The chapter number 3 will start with this sentence only, on account of his association. You can see this is the complete one paragraph Prabhupada has given here. Now here, by default, all the living entities are attached to the fruits, the activities what they are performing. Everyone wants to get the result of their activity. But how to change this to devotional service? That is through attachment to Krishna. So we don't have to give up anything. We have to only add Krishna to our life. You don't have to remove anything. Whatever things has to be given up, that will be taken care by Krishna himself. So Krishna will remove all our anartha. But what we have to do, we have to add Krishna to our life. Then everything will follow. So if we are too much attached to the material positions, we are attached to the results of our activity, then with the same result of our activity, use it for the service of the Lord or perform devotional service along with that. Then what happens? The purification begins. Krishna, he is like the sun. Tejesham na doshaya. When we go to Krishna, all our bad habits or whatever anarthas we have, it all gets clean. Just like when there is sunlight, if it falls on a filthy place, if it gets clean or the place becomes very neat. Similarly, even though we are having attachment for material positions, if we take to Krishna consciousness, if we bring Krishna to our life, then the purification begins and slowly the person can advance in the spiritual life. So unflinching attraction, if he is having, then he becomes eligible for discharging the devotional service. Now this chart we can see here. This is given in page number 2930. That is first and second page of this. Uttama Bhakti, Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Kanishta Adhikari. Uttama Adhikari has very convinced faith. That means his faith is very strong. And he has knowledge enough to convince others. Uttama Adhikari, he is practicing Krishna consciousness very firmly, and also he is able to teach others how to perform Krishna consciousness. He is able to convince others to serve the Lord. He can make others into devotees, and he can answer the questions that is asked in the spiritual life, the practice of Krishna consciousness, and he has completely understood the philosophy, what is being taught by his previous acharya. That is called Uttama Adhikari. Nobody can shake his devotion to Krishna, and he will never give up his devotion to Krishna at any point of his time. That is called Uttama Adhikari. And Madhyama Adhikari, he is convinced about Krishna for himself. And he is also very firm in practice of Krishna consciousness. But he will not be able to give Krishna consciousness to others at all the conditions. If there is some very strong opposing party, then he will not be able to defeat them because he is not very good at Shastra, the knowledge and the realization, the understanding of the philosophy. It may not be very strong. So somebody can confuse him, but he will not give up his own practice of Krishna consciousness at any cost, but he cannot make others into devotees. If there are people who are voluntarily coming and asking about Krishna consciousness, yes, he can help them. But there is some opposing opinion. In such cases, the person may not be able to defeat or may not be able to convince them. Then there is a third part that is called Kanishta Adhikari, one who is having very weak faith, one who has just started the Krishna consciousness or one who has not taken Krishna consciousness seriously. That is called weak faith. It's called Komala Shraddha. This kind of faith, it can be broken by someone. If somebody gives you some counter argument and if they try to defeat your understanding, your realizations, then he may give up his practice of Krishna consciousness. That is Kanishta Adhikari. So one must at least raise to the platform of Madhyama Adhikari. Then he can firmly chant Hare Krishna mantra continuously and practice Krishna consciousness. And there is no question of giving Krishna consciousness to others by a Kanishta Adhikari, because he cannot offer any arguments or he cannot present this Krishna consciousness to others because he himself is not convinced about it. That is the Kanishta Adhikari. We can give someone what we have. We cannot give something which we don't have. So unless we practice Krishna consciousness seriously, we cannot make others also serious about practice of Krishna consciousness. If I myself not following the instructions, what I am telling to others, then my words will not have the strength. Prabhupada told, all of you must read my books. And Prabhupada himself was reading his books. Why? Because these books are not ordinary. These books are Krishna. Krishna himself has given these books. This knowledge is belonging to Krishna. So when Prabhupada says you must read this book, Prabhupada himself also has shown as an example that everyone must read this book every day. So that is one example how a Uttama Adhikari behaves. His behavior, his practice of Krishna consciousness, just by seeing them, people become devotees. There are many people who became devotees just by hearing Srila Prabhupada's one lecture, or just by being with Prabhupada, just by accepting prasadam from the hands of Prabhupada. So that is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. That is the Uttama Adhikari. At the Uttama Adhikari level, he can make the whole world into Krishna conscious. He can turn entire world, earth into Vaikuntha. That is the platform of a Uttama Adhikari. Now, based on this last part that is Kanishta Adhikari, that is one who is having very weak faith, we have 4 more categories. This is given in Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone tell what are the four kinds of people who come to Krishna consciousness?
Hare Krishna Guruji.
Yes.
Yeah. You can raise your hand.
Artharthi, Jigyasu, Jnani.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. Artha, Artharthi, Jijnasu, and Jnani. These are the 4 people who come to Krishna consciousness. So they all come under this Kanishta platform. In the beginning, when they came, they come in the Kanishta platform. And of course, some of the examples, if we see, later they have raised themselves. So they are the Artha, the example is Gajendra, one who tried to Lord for protection. And Jijnasu, these are the sages at Naimisharanya. Artharthi, Dhruva Maharaj, and Jnani, that is the four Kumaras. These are the four people who came to Krishna for asking something or with some faith. Now Gajendra, he was cursed in his previous life to become an elephant. And in this life, he was behaving like an elephant and he was sporting in the water. But when a crocodile caught his leg, the crocodile was also a cursed Gandharva. He was Huhu Gandharva. And in his earlier life, this Gajendra was a Indradumna Maharaj. Now, because of that curse, he has forgotten everything. But when the crocodile catches its feet, it could not escape because it was very powerful. Then Gajendra remembers from his previous life about the Lord when he was worshipping. So he could remember, and then he calls the Lord. Then Lord comes and protects Gajendra. That is an example for Artha. And Jijnasu are the sages at Naimisharanya, as we have seen. You can see in the Srimad Bhagavatam beginning. The Bhagavatam begins with the this story that all the sages have assembled in a place called as Naimisharanya. This Naimisharanya is a very pious place where the sages were performing sacrifice, 1,000-year sacrifice for the benefit of whole world. At that time, there comes Suta Goswami. And Suta Goswami, he is very great devotee and he is very well versed in all the Shastras and Purana. So these sages who are there in the Naimisharanya, among them, the leader is called Shaunaka. So Shaunaka Rishi, he asked question to Suta Goswami. And Suta Goswami answers. So Suta Goswami's spiritual master is Shukadeva Goswami. When Shukadeva Goswami was explaining Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, he heard, Suta Goswami also heard this Srimad Bhagavatam. So Suta Goswami remembers his spiritual master, Shukadeva Goswami, and whatever he heard from Shukadeva Goswami, he will explain it as it is. And the Shaunakadi Rishi, they hear it very carefully and they will also understand the importance of devotional service and they also practice. And through that, it is available to us also today. So that is how the sages at Naimisharanya, they were Jijnasu. They wanted to know what is God, who is God, what is the position of the Lord, who we are, all these questions. Then next comes the Artharthi, that is Dhruva Maharaj. He wanted the kingdom, he wanted the wealth, he wanted to sit on a throne which is bigger than his grandfather. That is, his father is Uttanapada. Uttanapada is the son of Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu is the son of Brahma. Now, thinking like this, Dhruva Maharaj went to his mother Suniti. He was crying. Why? Because Uttanapada, he had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Suruchi had son called Uttama, and Suniti's son is Dhruva. Uttanapada likes his wife Suruchi more than Suniti. So Uttama was sitting on the lap of his father, and Dhruva also went to his father and he tried to climb his father's lap. But at that time, Suruchi stops him. She says, Dhruva, you have not taken birth from my womb. If you want to sit on your father's lap, then you should come as my son, not as Suniti's son. A small boy who could not understand what she is telling, but he developed a desire for sitting on the lap of his father, and he went to his mother, and mother also heard all the story from his maidservants, what happened. Then she says, Dhruva, don't get angry at anyone. It is all coming because of our own previous karma reaction. But Dhruva was very much determined, and he tells, I want to achieve this. So she tells, you can only take help from the Lord. Only Lord can help you, because the sages go to forest and they will get everything, whatever they want. So the Lord will be able to give you what you want. You ask him only. Then Dhruva, he decides to practice this tapas, austerity. When the disciple is ready, the spiritual master also will meet him. So Narad Muni comes, and first he will test him, because always spiritual master tests the disciple, then he gives the knowledge. So he says, you are a small boy, why you are so much determined? Now you are only 5 years old. Just go back to your palace and live there. When you grow young, you can come here. You can practice. But Dhruva was very much determined. He was not ready to go back. Okay, then Narad Muni instructs him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Narayana, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The boy Dhruva receives the mantra, and he practices austerity in Madhuvan, that is in the present Vrindavan, one of the forests called Madhuvan. He practiced for 6 months, he practiced, and he could see the Lord face to face. Why he went there? As an Artharthi, I want kingdom, I want wealth. But he saw the Lord. Now when he saw the Lord, he just gave up all the desires. All material desires are gone. That is the difference between a person who is worshipping Krishna and any other demigod. Demigod gives the benefit or benediction immediately, but they will not give the purification. But when we see the Lord, when we practice Krishna consciousness, the Lord first purifies us. Then he will fulfill our desire. So that is Dhruva. Then Jnani. 4 Kumaras, they wanted to see the Lord in Vaikuntha. They go there. In the beginning, they were called as Jnanis. Jnani means one who is detached from the world, and one who is not attached to the transcendental form of the Lord. They were only having the knowledge. But when they got to see the Lord, the divine form of the Lord, when the tulasi that was offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, the fragrance of tulasi enters their nostril, they get love of Godhead. So Jnani becomes devotee. So these are the 4 people who were in the beginner stage or neophyte stage. Then later on, they become very advanced by practicing Krishna consciousness. So these are the 4 examples. Those who would like to read can raise their hand. Yeah, Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Further classification of the neophyte, Nectar of Devotion, page 30 to 31. Such beginners can be elevated to the second class or first class platform if they associate with pure devotees, so that in the way of elevating oneself, in whatever condition one may be, if he is fortunate enough to associate with pure devotee, then very quickly he is elevated to the second class or first class platform.
Thank you.
Page 30, Nectar of Devotion. Hare.
Shri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
A wise man who becomes attached to Krishna does not want any return from him, either in the form of relieving distress or in gaining money. That means, from the very beginning, his basic principle of attachment to Krishna, more or less, is love. Nectar of Devotion, page 31. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, when the person comes to the Krishna consciousness platform and when he advances in Krishna consciousness, he will lose all material desires. And the only desire remains is to serve the Lord. When Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord face to face, he never asked him for the kingdom. He was just surprised, or he saw the Lord, he just kept on seeing the Lord. He did not know what to do. And he doesn't know even how to glorify the Lord because he's just a 5-year-old boy. Then the Lord could understand his situation, and he touches the conch shell to his cheek. Then the Lord, then Dhruva, he gains all the knowledge or the devotion to Krishna, and he starts glorifying the Lord. Then he says, I was searching for some glass pieces, but I have got the diamonds. Now I don't want the kingdom. I just want to serve you. I want to become a devotee. So that is the change that happened. Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Without being elevated to the position of the jnani or wise man, one cannot stick to the principle of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It can be concluded that a person who is free from the bodily concept of life is an eligible candidate for pure devotional service. Nectar of Devotion, page 32. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So as we have seen in Bhagavad Gita also, the fourth category of people, jnanis, they are much greater than other three. Why? Because the Artha and Artharthi, they are on the material platform. Artha wants some relief from material distress, and Artharthi wants some facility for material enjoyment. So one just want to give up or get free from the distress, other one want to enjoy. So both are material. And the Jijnasu, he is once the Jijnasa or the inquisitiveness is over, he may or may not take to Krishna consciousness. But a jnani or a person who is in knowledge, he will be very firmly fixed in the Krishna consciousness. So this is about the chapter number 3. Let us go through another presentation if we have missed something. So one should develop the faith in hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna, and one should not be too attached to material objects and too disgusted with the material life. And attachment to hearing and chanting, it's called Bhakti. Material sense enjoyment is karma, and extreme renunciation comes from jnana. So both are disqualification. One, if somebody is attached to hearing and chanting about the Lord, then he can perform bhakti. One who is attached to sense gratification, this is karmis. They are people who are there in the society in general. They are just karmis. They work for themselves. And one who is developed extreme renunciation, they will only develop jnana, or they take the path of jnana. But if we really want to do bhakti, then one should develop hearing and chanting, the attachment to hearing and chanting about the Lord. Now, how to get the attraction for the Lord, we should keep hearing and chanting about the Lord Krishna. We should remember Krishna always. And that is available when one person is very fortunate. When somebody is fortunate, he will get an opportunity to hear about the Lord. And this fortune comes when we associate with the Lord, great devotees. The devotees, they go to everywhere. They are spreading Krishna consciousness everywhere without any material benefit. they are just giving the Krishna consciousness to everyone. So because of that mercy of great devotees, we will become fortunate enough to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord, because of which we develop attraction to Krishna, and through which we begin the Krishna consciousness practice. So it all depends on the devotees who are merciful to the fallen conditioned souls. And also 3 categories we have seen: Uttama, Madhyama, and Kanishtadhikari. So this is the definition. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can see the definition for Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. A faithful devotee is a truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, intermediate, and inferior devotee. So what is the topmost devotee? One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures. Shastra yukte nipuna, drida shraddha yanra, uttama adhikari seyi taraye samsara. So one is very expert in the logic, argument, and revealed scriptures. One who has firm faith in Krishna consciousness, he is considered as the topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world, just like Srila Prabhupada. He established Krishna consciousness in whole world. He could deliver all the fallen conditioned souls. That is the condition or the situation of a Uttamadhikari. And there is one more definition for this definition is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2266 and also in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-17. Shastre yuktaucha nipunaha sarvatha drida nischaya praudha shraddho adhikariyaha sa bhaktau uttamo mataha. So it's called praudha shraddha, that is developed the faith. One who is expert in logic and understanding, revealed scriptures, and firm conviction and deep faith about the Lord. It is not blind faith. He has personal realizations. He is the topmost devotee of the Lord. These are some of the symptoms. Shastra yuktaucha nipuna, expert in study of revealed scriptures. He is able to summarize, or he is able to explain the conclusion of all the scriptures. Expert in putting forward arguments on the basis of scriptures. So whatever he speaks, he can give the evidence. Just like the lawyer, when he speaks, he gives the law as a reference, not simply speaking out of his own opinion, and can nicely present conclusion with perfect discretion, and can consider the ways of devotional service in a decisive way. So it doesn't create any confusion, and he is able to give Krishna consciousness in a convincing manner. And Madhyamadhikari, he has firm conviction for himself through understanding the tattva and sadhana, but he will not be able to convince others. And he has these are the 3 symptoms of Uttamadhikari. Yeah, Sarvatha Drida Nishchaya. He is expert in Shastra. These are the 3 points for that. And he has very firm faith in his understanding, tattva and sadhana. And his faith is also very strong. So has deep shraddha, that is deep conviction in contents of scriptures by understanding with all reason and argument. And also understand that ultimate goal of life is to attain the transcendental loving service of Krishna, and that is only object of worship and love. So these are the different points in more elaborate way. What are the different symptoms of a Uttama Adhikari? Okay, anybody would like to read? Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Other symptoms of Uttamadhikari. Chapter 3-10. He has strictly followed the rules and regulations under the training of a bona fide spiritual master and has sincerely obeyed him in accord with revealed scriptures. He has thus become fully trained to preach and become a spiritual master himself. He never deviates from principles of higher authority. Basis for his faith is argument and reason on the basis of revealed scriptures and not dry speculative logic. He has attained mature determination in the matter of devotional service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next, coming to Madhyamadhikari, Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Shastra Yukti nahi jan. How to say this? Shastra Yukti nahi jane dhrida shraddhavan Madhyama Adhikari se Mahabhagyavan. Translation: one who is not very expert in argument and logic based on the revealed scriptures, but who has firm faith is considered a second-class devotee. He also must be considered most fortunate. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.67. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Madhyamadhikari is also very fortunate because he's practicing Krishna consciousness for himself very nicely, and he has very firm faith. His understanding of Krishna consciousness is very strong, and he has his own realizations also, and he is also not going to fall down at any point. But he is not very well versed in the Shastra, and he is not able to convince everyone at all the time. Shri Hari Priya Mataji. Unmute yourself. Anybody else would like to read? Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Right.
Madhyam Adhikari Yah Shastra Dishva Anipuna Shraddhavan Sa Tu Madhyamaha. Translation: He who does not know scriptural argument very well, but who has firm faith is called as intermediate or second-class devotee. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.68 and BRS 1 to 18 also.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. 1 to
Nectar of Devotion. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that is the character or symptom of a Madhyama Adhikari. Shastradishu Nipunau and Shraddhavan. Both, Anipunau. Shastra Adishu Nipunau. That means he is not as conversant as the Uttamadhikari in the scriptures, and he is not very expert in arguing. And he is Shraddhavan, but he himself is very much convinced. It is the medium qualification. And coming to Kanishta Adhikari, Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yahara Komala Shraddha se Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Tenho Bhakta Hei Ibe Uttama. Translation: one whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.69. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this is the character or the feature of a Kanishta Adhikari. So how to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita shloka? It is like there is a tune for that. Yahara Komala Shraddha Sei Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Teno Bhakta Haibe Uttama. Like that, this tune is used for chanting Chaitanya Charitamrita shlokas. So Yo Bhavet Komala Shraddha Sa Kanishto Nigadyate. One whose faith is not very strong, who is just beginner, should be considered a neophyte devotee. His faith is very weak. These are some of the characters. Harini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Symptoms of a Kanishta Adhikari. First, has even lesser knowledge of scripture than Madhyama Adhikari. Hence, his faith is weak and can be temporarily shaken in the face of opposition. But he regains faith in words of Guru. Second, no firm faith in objective. Third, however, he has some faith, he is completely unconvinced, otherwise he would not be considered a devotee. Jiva Goswami says, the person's faith is the conviction.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, says a person's faith is just conviction in the meaning of scripture without knowing much. For he is the least qualified among the three adhikaris.
Thank you, Mataji. Then there are 4 kinds of Supratina that we have already seen. This is given in Bhagavad Gita 7.16. Chaturvida bhajante mam, jana Supratina arjuna, artho jijnasurartharthi, jnanicha vartarshava. So these are the 4 people who are qualified, who are beginners or the Kanishtadhikaris, who are not qualified for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That means they are very Kanishta Adhikaris. Faith in objective of Uttama Bhakti is essential for beginning the devotional service. Okay, this we already see. Next, continue to the next part of the chapter 4. We go to chapter 4, page number 37, not 37. Yeah, correct. 37 is the chapter number 4 in my book. You can see what is the number in your book accordingly. Anybody would like to read, they can raise their hand. Deepti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavata. Vaikuntha 2 Krishna Loka, NOD chapter 4. Nectar of Devotion. Some of the liberated persons who have achieved these 4 stages of liberation may also develop affection for Krishna and be promoted to the Goloka Vrindavana, planet in the spiritual sky. In other words, those who are already promoted to the Vaikuntha planets and who possess the 4 kinds of liberation may also sometimes develop affection for Krishna and become promoted to Krishna Loka. Nectar of Devotion, page 45. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhu. Here, this entire chapter is giving us evidences. If you see, there are evidences for proving that devotional service surpasses all liberation, all kinds of liberation. So that is the heading of this topic. Now, as we know, this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is the book of law for ISKCON or for Bhakti. And it gives us a lot of evidences to prove what we are telling is correct. So what this statement here, devotional service surpasses all liberation, means a person is not bothered about whether he is getting liberated or not. His only intention is to practice Krishna consciousness or making Krishna happy. That becomes the only object of the devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness. So in this regard, we can remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam, Nadhanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam va Jagadisha Kamaye, Mama Janmani, Janmanishware, Bhavatat Bhakti Rahaitu Kitvai. So Janmani, Janmani, Bhavatat Bhakti. That means life after life, give me devotion. I am not even thinking of going back to Godhead. So that is the intention or objective of a devotee. He is not bothered about the going back to Godhead also. So this is explained by taking the explanation from so many devotees. It starts in the previous chapter itself, if you see. So from here it starts. A pure devotee never cares for liberation. This is in chapter number 3 itself. All of you can open the book and note down. And here we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation. My Lord. So this is the statement. Oh my dear son of Nanda, I do not want any material happiness in the shape of followers or immense population wealth. This is like same. Najanam nasundarim kavitam vajagadisha kaman. That is explained. That is the first statement or first evidence to prove that the devotion to Krishna, it is free from liberation. He is not thinking about liberation. And in the second paragraph, if I consider this as the first paragraph, then the second statement is given by Bilomangal Thakur. If you see here, Sri Bilomangal Thakur has told, if I am engaged in devotional service unto you, my dear Lord, then very easily can I perceive your presence everywhere. And as far as liberation is concerned, I think liberation stands at my doors with folded hands. Mukti swayam mukutanjalihi sevatyasman dharmartha kamagataya samaya pratiksha. Then in the next third one, we have the statement from Kapila Deva. This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can open Srimad Bhagavatam later on and check this verse. This is verse number 23 from 25th chapter of 3rd canto. So 3, 25, 23 says, this is the statement of Kapila Deva to his mother. So this is a very long statement. You can read it. Okay, anybody can read once. Madhuri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My dear mother, my pure devotees are charmed by seeing my different forms, the beauty of my face, the structure of my body, so enchanting. My laughing, my pastimes, and my glance appear to them so beautiful that their minds are always absorbed in thoughts of me, and their lives are dedicated fully unto me. Although such people do not desire any kind of liberation or any kind of material happiness, still I give them a place amongst my associates in the supreme abode. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
No. So in this way, when we practice Krishna consciousness, the liberation is already there. One need not think about it, or one need not ask about it. And the devotees are not bothered also about the liberation. They are happy wherever they are in practicing Krishna consciousness. Then in the 4th paragraph, there is a statement by Rupa Goswami himself in the this is 4th one. So Rupa Goswami in this connection says that one who is actually attracted by the beauty of the lotus feet of Krishna, his service, whose heart is by such attraction, is always full faith in transcendental bliss and never aspire for the liberation. So in this way, this is all like just like a lawyer in the court, how he argues. These all are the statements. So if we, because generally what happens, people are thinking about this Chaturvida Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So for them, if we say that liberation is of secondary in the service to Lord, everyone may not agree. So these are the statements which will confirm that service to Krishna is more than the liberation. And in the next paragraph, we have the statement by Uddhava. Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava. Uddhava addresses Lord Krishna, sorry. So here, you can all read this. So this is Uddhava's statement, and then again we have the statement of Kapila Deva again here. And then Dhruva Maharaj is speaking here about the liberation. So we cannot read all those things. You can all go through these statements where it says that the liberation, the devotional service, which is surpassing the all kinds of liberation to Krishna. Okay, now let us have a kirtan, then we'll continue. Who is doing kirtan now? Deepa Rani Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, we have one Mahesh Kumar attending today.
I know him.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
I'll do Bhaja Gauranga. Rakshita Matsudi, are you sharing the screen?
No, she is there. Rakshita Mataji. She was there, but now she has left.
Okay.
Netravati Mataji, you can help.
I'll start, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhajo Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Namare. Bhajo Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Namare. Jai Jana Gaurango Bhaje, Jai Jana Gaurango Bhaje, Se hoy amar pran re. Jai Jana Gaurango Bhaje, Se hoy amar pran re. Bhaj Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Naam re. Bhaj Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Naam re. Gauranga boliya dubahu tuliya, Gauranga boliya dubahu tuliya, nachiya nachiya birare. Gauranga boliya dubahu tuliya, Gauranga boliya dubahu tuliya, nachiya nachiya birare. Bhajo Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Naam re. Bhajo Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Laho Gaurangera, Naam re. Gauranga bhajile, Gauranga गौरंग भजिले गौरंग जपिले गौरंग भजिले गौरंग जपिले হয় দুঃখের অবসান রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে যে जना গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে যে जना গৌরাঙ্গ ভজে সে হয় আমার প্রাণ রে ভজ গৌরাঙ্গ কহ গৌরাঙ্গ লহ গৌরাঙ্গের নাম রে গৌর 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 হরি গৌর 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 হরি राम राघव राम राघव राम राघव रक्षमा राम राघव राम राघव राम राघव रक्षमा गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि कृष्ण केशव कृष्ण केशव कृष्ण केशव पाहि मां जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि नव गौरवरं नव पुष्पचरं नव भावधरं नव लास्यपरं नव हास्यपरं कर हेमवरं प्रणमामि सचिश्रुत गौरवरं प्रणमामि सचिश्रुत गौरवरं प्रणमामि सचिश्रुत गौरवरं गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Would you like to read the translation, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Worship Lord Gauranga, chant Gauranga, speak about Lord Gauranga only. Those who worships Lord Gauranga is indeed my life and soul. Chanting Gauranga, go out with your arms raised, dancing and dancing. By chanting Gauranga and worshipping him, one's miseries will end. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome back to the discussion. Let us continue to the chapter number 4. So chapter number 4 is filled with all the statements by great devotees about how liberation is less than the devotion to Krishna, or the devotional service is surpassing the liberation. Anybody would like to read? Can raise the hand. Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Now, Vaikuntha to Krishna Loka. Some of the liberated persons who have achieved these 4 stages of liberation may also develop attraction for Krishna and be promoted to the Goloka, Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky. In other words, those who are already promoted to the Vaikuntha planets and who possess the 4 kinds of liberation may also sometimes develop affection for Krishna and become promoted to Krishna Loka. Nectar of Devotion, page 45. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Here, there are 4 kinds of liberation is explained. They are named as Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, and Shastri. These are the 4 kinds of liberation that is explained in the Nectar of Devotion book here. So, Salokya means to be in the same planet as that of the Lord. Samipya means to be very close to the Lord. Sarupya means to get the same form as that of the Lord. And Shastri means getting the same kind of opulence that the Lord is having. So these are the 4 types of liberation a person can achieve by practicing Krishna consciousness. And also there is one more liberation called Sayujya. Sayujya liberation means becoming one with the Lord, which is called Brahma Jyoti, one with the Brahma Jyoti, which is not expected by the devotees, or it is not, they are not aspiring for it. That is the 5th one. So these 4 liberations, if it is given to the devotees, and if it is, if there is no opportunity for serving the Lord, then devotees will not accept it. So service to Krishna is the first thing what they need, and then comes the liberation. Along with that, the liberation comes. Okay, the devotees will accept, but they are not aspiring for the liberation separately or intentionally while doing the devotional service to Krishna. They want to serve Krishna because they want to serve. That's all. Because they love Krishna. That's it. It is not for anything else. Generally, people serve the Lord or go to the Lord for asking something material. And the devotees, they don't even ask for any spiritual benefit also, or the liberation also. They just want to become devotees of the Lord. That is the platform of pure devotees. Shri Priya Sampat Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare.
Out of many kinds of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who is attracted to the original form of the Lord, Krishna, in Vrindavan is considered to be the foremost first-class devotee. Such a devotee is never attracted by the opulences of Vaikuntha or even of Dwaraka, the royal city where Krishna ruled. The conclusion of Sri Rupa Goswami is that the devotees who are attracted by the pastimes of the Lord in Gokula or Vrindavana are the topmost devotees. Nectar of Devotion, page 46. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. So here, this is like, there is a gradation even in the liberation also. One who is worshipping the Lord Narayana, they will go to Vaikuntha. Or one who is worshipping the Lord Rama, they will go to Ayodhya. And one who is worshipping Krishna, they will go to Goloka. So here, going to Vaikuntha or Dwaraka. Dwaraka means one who worships Krishna with a opulent manner. That means with awe and reverence. If we are worshipping the Lord, then they go to Dwaraka. And if they are worshipping the Lord like in the Vrindavana, how people are worshipping the Lord, then they go to the Goloka Vrindavana. So here Rupa Goswami is saying that going to Goloka Vrindavana is the highest. In the previous text also, we can see those who are already in Vaikuntha planet, they also can be promoted to Krishna Loka. That means if they practice Krishna consciousness, there is promotion. That means Goloka Namni Nijdhamni Talecha Tasya Devi Mahesha Haridamasu Teshu Teshu. The topmost is Goloka, then comes Vaikuntha, then comes Mahesha Dama, then comes the Devi Dhama. So these are the different gradations. So here Rupa Goswami is confirming here that Goloka Dama is the topmost place where the devotees go and they be in the constant service of the Lord. In Vaikuntha, the Lord is like the master or like the king. The Lakshmi Narayana, they are there and all other people are serving them. This is like what we can see in our worship, the way of worship. We have the deity of Lord Radha Krishna, but still we serve them in the mood of Lakshmi Narayana only. But in the Vrindavana, the mode of service is different. In Vrindavana, nobody is serving Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is having some intimate relation to the Lord, and they love Krishna as their son, their child, or their playmate. Like the cowherd boys, they climb on the shoulder of Krishna and they defeat Krishna in their while playing. So this is how the Goloka devotees are. So that is the topmost way of worship to Krishna. But what we do is Lakshmi Narayana worship, because that is what recommended by Acharyas. Because we are not qualified to worship the Lord in that mood, because we have material desires and material tendencies. Now in the chapter 5, we have a group exercise which explains the independent nature of Uttama Bhakti. So read Nectar of Devotion, pages 47-48. That is the beginning of chapter number 5. And you can explain what is Srila Rupa Goswami's principle regarding who can practice devotional service. What additional evidence is there to support this principle, and how is this principle relevant for the development of the Krishna consciousness movement? Here the question is, who can practice devotional service? That is the question. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Anybody has any question in the exercise? You have to read chapter number 5, first two pages, and answer one question: who can practice devotional service? Then, what are the principles which supports this, and also some how this principle relevant for the development in Krishna conscious movement. That is in ISKCON, how it is used. Hope it is clear for all. Okay, if everything is clear, then let us do breakout rooms. 4 breakout rooms I'll do. so that there will be 4 to 5 people in a group.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You have 5 minutes for discussion and 2 minutes for presentation.
Prabhuji, I'm back. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm
Hare-
back into the main room. I couldn't join room 2. Again, I'm back.
Just a minute, Madhu. I will add. Hare Krishna, welcome back to the discussion. Who can practice devotional service is the question. Those who are presenting, please raise your hand. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody who has unflinching faith in Lord can practice devotional service irrespective of his caste, creed, sex, or any kind of differentiation. So everybody who has faith in the Lord and who are determined to worship him and who are consciously making an effort to understand the Lord and his world or maybe his supremacy, they are entitled for devotional service. Then the second part is additional evidences. We get many evidences like from Padma Puran, and we get an evidence where it is mentioned that if even the Shudras, if they become Vaishnavas, if they apply the tilak on every part of the body, because the body becomes a temple of the Lord, then when you do a Vaishnav tilak and when you wear beads and around your neck, then you become sacred, or you are purified from doing all sinful actions. Then when you do the chanting of the Harinam and you dress like which is mentioned in the Vaishnava cult, so that way you become more close and more advanced in your devotional service. So the devotional service, which even in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is mentioned there is a bell metal kind of a bell metal analogy which comes in contact with anything and it converts into gold. Similarly, here in our relevance for Krishna consciousness movement is like in ISKCON we have the Aspire, Shelter and Diksha initiation, which helps us, like the bell metal, the spiritual master converts every individual irrespective of all the things or differentiations into a Brahmana, more advanced than a Brahmana into a Vaishnava. So we easily surpass by the association and the guidance of the spiritual master. And even it is mentioned in, like Prabhupada has devised this Krishna consciousness movement in such a fashion that slowly and steadily we are imbibed into it, and we are not, by following the 4 regulative principles, few rules and regulations, and practicing small little baby steps, our devotional services enhances. And even if first of all in devotional service, like Rup Goswami has mentioned, that it is very difficult that if anybody is regularly discharging a devotional service on a regular basis, so the downfall is, first of all, it is difficult. And if sometimes even the fall down happens, there is no process of atonement of prayashchitta specifically mentioned. From wherever you have fallen down, again revive your same devotional service with the same rigor and fashion, follow the rules and regulations, and again slowly and steadily you will reach in the devotional service, or you will be on the right track. So this is one special feature of the mystery of the Vaishnava cult, on which our Prabhupada's ISKCON movement or a Krishna consciousness movement is based. This is a very strong pillar of reviving everybody's devotional service. So, and Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that is what I would like.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Muralidharan Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
She has already covered some of the important points. What I look forward is ensuring that you reach a minimum level of mode of goodness. That would be the stepping stone to practicing other requirements of the tilak or the, tilak on the body and the beads in their hands and neck, and looking beautiful every day by your practice of devotional service. That alone can take you forward from the mode of simple goodness to a purified form of goodness. That's one point I can remember. And the confusions were related to the word Brahmana being applied only to a particular group or a particular sect was also smashed by the Goswamis to ensure that a common person can also be in transcendental service, reach a stage of goodness, practice certain practices that will keep you pure and allow you to move to a higher level of. So who's the person who can eligible? One who can follow simple norms of chanting the mantra, applying the tilaka, and maintaining hygiene levels that are quite good, and ensure that you take a bath every day. It's like saying when the reference was made, everybody has a right to take bath, and everybody has a right to chant. Everybody has a right to be in the mode of goodness and move forward to the higher state of consciousness that allows you. And Prabhupada ji has formed this organization in the West, giving access to the most simple people who were homeless or who had no proper practices. They had access to drugs and other impure forms of life. He purified them by allowing them to have the chant, the beads, the access to an organization to organize their goodness in a specific way, and allow you to learn the requirements to move to a level of higher consciousness. Radha Vallavi Mataji, want to add something, please? Kiruba Shankar ji has, I think, logged out. Yeah. Go ahead, Radha Mataji.
I think the references are given from the scriptures, that is what Padam Puran and
Skanda Purana, yes.
Skanda Purana,
yeah.
Even, wherein it has been talked about by sage Vashishta about King Dilip. Everyone has the right to execute the devotional service. And Sanatan Goswami, in his book Hari Bhakti Vilas, he has given the Vaishnav guidelines for us. So that is what we are following in ISKCON also. And everyone has the right to become the Vaishnava. That is the main philosophy. And a bona fide spiritual, which is, then you take initiation through a bona fide spiritual master. And then we have a formal Brahman Diksha. So that is also through these guidelines we take. But everyone, it is, so the basic concept is devotional service is a right for everyone. So it is not that one class of Brahmins only will be allowed to take the Diksha or are called as Brahmanas. Hare Krishna.
I think that covers.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Most of the points have been covered by all the people, and certain points Sarita Mataji may be speaking. Since my this one hand comes up first, no, I am just telling something which is not told yet. Actually, Hare Krishna movement, it is brought by Srila Prabhupada, who is the direct disciple, devotee of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And this Maharaj wanted Krishna consciousness to be started in the West. And as per his order, Prabhupada went to West and he did it. He just brought the fallen souls to Krishna consciousness. But basically, all of them were not Brahmanas, but they were given Diksha and they were made higher than Brahmanas, or they are known as Vaishnavas now. So in Krishna conscious movement, there is no casteism, just they will be considered as Vaishnava alone. Those who are having attraction towards Krishna, he is known as a Vaishnava. So basically, the third chapter, the starting of the chapter of the chapter number 3, it says that we should have little attraction towards Krishna and we should have unflinching faith towards Krishna. So these are the two basic things which ISKCON movement is looking at the devotees. And towards the end of this other points, the Mataji will say, and towards the end, there is something written, that is, once we are getting the initiation, that is not the end of the life. There onwards, your responsibility increases. You have to spread this message, which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to all the fallen devotees. And we have to make more and more people Krishna consciousness so that they can get back to Godhead in this particular life itself. And that is the great boon one can give as per Prabhupada's instruction, which is already given to Prabhupada through the disciplic succession. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think most of the points are covered. So in the first questions, where it is said, who can practice, Rupa Goswami gives a reference says that everyone has a birthright to accept devotional service and to become Krishna consciousness. So which shows that anybody can become Gaudiya Vaishnava, and that's what Srila Prabhupada has also showed, and how he has converted everyone. Irrespective of which caste they are born, like all Prabhupada has made them Vaishnavas by giving them the devotional process. And then the reference we get from Padma Purana, which Mataji mentioned. The other one reference I could see here is it says that in the country known as Mayura Dwaja, lower caste people who are considered less than Shudras are also initiated in the Vaishnava cult of devotional service. And when they're properly dressed with tilakas on their bodies and beads in their hands and on their necks, they appear to be coming from Vaikunta. In fact, they look so beautiful that immediately they surpass the ordinary Brahmanas. So this is from the scriptures. So, and also that which Sanatana Goswami, which he gives in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that bell metal how coming in contact into the gold turns into gold. So that bell metal coming into contact by mixture of a mercury, which also converts to gold. So similarly, anyone who is coming in contact with the pure devotees, so they can also take into, or the senior devotees, they can take it up into Krishna consciousness. So how this helps the relevant for the development of Krishna consciousness movement, this we see practically in how Prabhupada has changed many lives in the West, right? By giving the regulative principles. When people are following strictly these rules and regulations given by Prabhupada, and making ourselves more confident in scriptures by reading Prabhupada books, so that we can become fixed in bhakti. And when people are when we become when we get more knowledge on the philosophy given by Prabhupada, then we have we get confidence also to refute. The people, the outside world where most of the people are believing in Mayavad philosophy. So, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Shri Priya Sampath Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think all the topics, all the points are covered. Srila Rupa Goswami says that devotional service is transcendental to all, and it is not in particular to particular mass of people or something like that. And secondly, in the Middle Age, there were a few people who were claiming them to be Goswamis and followers of Nityananda. They were called as a Nityananda Vamsha. They thought that by practicing and spreading was only by a particular kind of people or class of people. And this particular attitude and this particular practice was stopped by Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And later through ISKCON, then everybody who wears a tilak regularly, chants on the bead, and regularly wearing the dressing up in the particular Vaishnava dressing attire, if they follow all the Vaishnava attire, going to the temple, following the practice, it is very easily you can follow their instructions, and one can become Vaishnava easily. And here, once you are associated with ISKCON, you have step by step, like you get encouragement at every step. And even if there is a fall at any point of time, the devotee is being held with the association, senior devotee association, and you have been lifted up. At any point of time, like falling down, say suddenly you have no faith or something. Since if you have unflinching faith in Krishna, then ISKCON takes you up to a greater level, the devotee association. That's it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So devotional service is available for all. Anybody can take to it. Only thing is one should have some faith and interest in hearing the Lord. If we are desiring to see the Lord, then the Lord will arrange for everything. Doesn't matter in what kind of birth we got, in what caste or what society we are Anybody can take to Krishna consciousness. The opportunity is open to all. It's available. And taking to initiation or Diksha, it is the beginning. As Prabhupada has translated Diksha into initiation. Initiation means beginning. We should not think that I got now initiation, my spiritual perfection is reached. No, it is just starting. You have to practice more. Then only you will come to perfection. So initiation should not be considered as perfection. Initiation means it is the beginning. One has to start there. So one has to become more serious in his practice of Krishna consciousness. Those who would like to read, can they raise their hand? Shri Priya Sampat Mataji.
Purified Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered that Prithvi, all over the world, as many towns and villages are there, my name will be established there. So we are trying to do that. So his name should be established does not mean that they should remain as Yavanas or Nechas and simply they should know Lord Chaitanya. No, actually the fact is that everyone should be elevated to the position of Vaishnavas, purified Vaishnava. Nectar of Devotion, Vrindavan, November 6, 1972. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself have told, you spread this Krishna consciousness and make everyone into devotee. So it is made available for all. So this is the Hari Bhakti Vilasa, Radha Vallavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yatha kanchanatam yati kasmam rasa vidhanta tatha diksha vidhane divajatam jayate narmam. Hari Bhakti Vilas 2.12. Any person who is properly initiated into the Vaishnava cult certainly becomes a Brahmana, as much as the metal known as Kamsa. Bell metal is turned into gold by the mixture of mercury.
Thank you, Mataji.
Page 48.
Hare Krishna.
Nectar of Devotion. Hare Krishna.
So this is a metallurgical aspect which is unknown to the modern science. We are not able to convert bell metal into gold. If it is known, then we could have converted all the bell metals which we have in our home into gold. So that science is not there at the present moment, but it was there earlier. If you have mercury and bell metal, it can be converted into gold by certain kind of process. Similarly, the process is same. That is, the analogy is given there. The process of conversion from bell metal to gold is same as process of converting or process of liberating a person from the material platform to the spiritual platform. Bell metal is compared to the person who is in the material platform, and gold is compared to the person in the spiritual platform. And applying mercury or process of metallurgical process is considered is compared to the initiation. So yeah, tatha diksha vidhanena. Through the process of diksha, initiation, a person can come to the platform of devotee. Jayanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare.
Even if circumstantially there is some downfall, the Vaishnava need have nothing to do with the prayachita. One who has taken to bhakti, the devotional service of the Lord, need have nothing to do with karma or jnana. Nectar of Devotion, page 49. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. And also there is a confirmation that even if you take to Krishna consciousness and if you fall down, because the person has not come from a good background or he has no previous cultivation of devotion life, because of that the person may fall down, but still there is no loss. You don't have to do any other prayaschitta. You just go on continuing your devotional service. Then one day Krishna will make everything perfect because your path is correct. As Narada Muni also explained Vyasadeva in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam harir bhajanapakota pate tato yadi. Giving up the activities of a person and taking to Krishna consciousness and being uneducated or being not a well-versed person in the practice of Krishna consciousness. If he falls down, then there is no loss, because the process is so strong that it will take you to the perfection one day without any doubt. So one has to become a devotee at any cost. We should not think that if I try to become a devotee and if I fall down, then what will happen? What the world will say, or how can I continue my life? No, nothing like that. Falling down like small children, when they are walking, they will fall down and then again they'll raise and they'll start walking again. Like that only we all learn to walk. Similarly, in the spiritual life also, we may fail to practice certain rules and regulations, but still keep on going. Don't do the mistakes intentionally, but momentarily fall downs, that Krishna will take care, and one day we will be able to serve the Lord in a proper manner. Shri Hari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If by chance or mistake he does something which is forbidden, there is no need for him to perform any purificatory ceremonies, because the Lord is situated within his heart. He takes compassion for the devotee's accidental mistake and corrects him from within. Nectar of Devotion, page 52. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. So this is similar to 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna makes the devotion very easy. At any point, at any platform you may be, you can start Krishna consciousness. You can practice this devotional service. So these are the three objectives of today's session. Eligibility for accepting and practicing and advancing in the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and ISKCON's practice of claiming members from the all sections of Western countries in relation to principles established by Rupa Goswami, and also independent nature of pure devotional service with reference to evidences given in chapter 5. So anybody who is practicing Krishna consciousness, he should be considered as Vaishnava. They should be given all the respect as that of a devotee, irrespective of in which country they belong to or which caste they belong to. All these things. Deepti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. My dear Uddhava, any person who takes shelter of me in complete surrender and follows my instructions, giving up all occupational duties, is to be considered the first-class man. By the one stroke of devotional service, if someone gives up all obligations and simply surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is no longer a debtor nor obliged to any other source of benefit. The Nectar of Devotion, page 51. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, Lord is giving so many evidences and through his devotees for practicing Krishna consciousness, how it is obvious for all, and how one can elevate himself to devotional service. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, if you see the book in the PDF, so this is what Mataji read just now. This is the sentence. So this is the end of fifth chapter. So these are the statements. One is here, and this is the last statement. Hence, we have completed the 5 chapters among the 19th chapter. So 5 chapters are over. Next, from the 6th chapter onwards, Krishna will, Rupa Goswami will explain about 64 items of bhakti. So starting with the first point, that is accepting the shelter of lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. Like that, there are numbering. And in the 6th chapter, all the 64 items are explained. And then from the 7th chapter onwards, each of these items will be explained individually. So that's how we'll be continuing to the next coming chapters. So 6th chapter will be the explanation for practice of Krishna consciousness. So if you see how to discharge devotional service. Till now we have understood what are the basic needs for devotional service, what are the benefits if we practice Krishna consciousness. All these things are over. Now we are directly going to the devotional service, practice of devotional service to the Lord. My request is all of you please read this book, the first 5 chapters clearly. There are even more points to be noted than what we have discussed in the class. So there is a need for reading by yourself. Then if you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask in the next class also. Whatever till now, whatever we have discussed in that, whatever any question what you may have, that will be discussed. Now, as of now, in today's discussion, or till now, whatever we have done, within that, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand and ask questions. Yeah, Dipti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this session, wonderful session. Prabhuji, I have no questions. That was the previous hand raised, actually. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare.
Sureshwar Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful session. And I just want to ask you something regarding that sages in the Naimisharanya forest. But last time when we went to Mayapur, there was Naimisharanya, and somewhere I read it is in Bihar. But as such, what is Naimisharanya, or it is what it is exactly?
Yeah, the pastimes of the Lord. There will be so many places we make the replica of that. Even if you are at your home also, if you have a place like Vrindavan, you can make a place and there you can worship the Lord. Rupa Goswami, when he was in his service under the Nawab Hussain Shah, he had a Vrindavan at his place. That means exactly how the Vrindavan is, same kind of Vrindavan he made at his place, and he was worshipping there, worshipping the Lord there. So that is also considered as Vrindavan. Similarly, there are places, the Lord has made pastimes in so many places. So that places can be made into replica in your place and you can worship. That place also is as good as having the spiritual word. And even ISKCON also has Vrindavan. If you see in Maharashtra, there is one place, Wada. They have made exact replica of Vrindavan. There also you can see Madan Mohan temple and Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, everything is there. It is what we can see in the Vrindavan, in the near what the pastimes of the Lord in near Delhi or Mathura. Same replica they have made in that place also. There also you can see the place. So the name will also be kept as same. So the pastimes of the Lord is unlimited, and the devotees of the Lord are also unlimited. So they make this kind of facility for the worship of the Lord.
Okay, thank you so much, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, so this understanding of nectar of devotion, it requires a systematic study. So all of you please read the book, because all the points are still more points are there.